This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Scrape on jumping rules, sunshine and sea, everything to make you cool, sunshine and sea.
Good yawning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It's Thursday, the 20th of March, 2025, and you are on the clock with Erin, Greene. On the clock, we engage organizations, institutions, social and cultural leaders, and ordinary people to better understand the impact of public policy, private sector development, and emerging social and consumer trends. On the clock, we have conversations that help us understand and navigate a rapidly changing Bahamas. This morning, I'm having a conversation with Brief. The conversation is specifically about programming that helps young people navigate a rapidly changing Bahamas. Young people with an interest in marine biology, an interest in conservation, and an interest in environmental education of Bahamas Reef Environmental and Educational Foundation. So I have joining me this morning Ms. Crystal Darling Sargent. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Erin.
Tell the people what position you hold in Brief, because I've been telling the people you are the Chief Dolphin Officer. That's
okay.
Like 2 steps below Admiral. But tell me, what's your position in Brief?
Okay, well, I guess I can take the Chief Dolphin Officer. And by the way, I'm about to go on a snorkel, too.
Oh.
Today. So we...
Today?
So there's a lot today.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's my warm-up for Saturday's public snorkel that we have coming up. So that's going to be on Saunders Beach.
Okay. But
so my position... my actual position is the... I'm the communications officer at Brief and also the national operator for the Bahamas Young Reporters for the Environment program. And we also have our national competition coming up.
Absolutely. So listen, you're going out to practice snorkel for the snorkel this Saturday.
Gonna warm up.
See, that's what I know. I thought the most apropos title would be Chief Bubbler.
Oh my goodness.
Because I am an ocean free-floating Olympic champion, right?
Okay.
They only did it once.
Free float. Okay.
I was 2, so that was like 1978.
Oh,
they never did it after
they
that.
let 2-year-olds participate in the
I was a champion.
Wow.
I qualified from the beginning.
That's amazing.
Straight through to the Olympics, right? That's what I'm saying. So if we can have a wonderful opportunity to snorkel this weekend, we can get to that in a moment. I want to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about traffic at sort of the end of the segment. Because we often don't talk about marine traffic. And recently we've had a number of marine accidents, right? That show like there's either a clear sort of ignorance and not in, I mean, there's a negative connotation, but not to ignorance, but the fact that there are so many people operating boats without a sound understanding of the rules. Right, and the culture, so there's the rules, but to really adhere to the rules, you have to understand why the rule exists, right? So we can talk about that at the end of the segment. I want to mention an event coming up soon. I saw it last night, and I was a bit disappointed just because of where I saw it first, and I haven't seen it anywhere else yet. So I'm sharing it here today, 8th of March, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Performing Arts Center at UB. There will be a lecture that's a part of a lecture series celebrating the 8th Inter-American Week for people of African descent within the second decade for people of African descent. I don't know if people heard that just now. There's a second decade for people of African descent because the first decade, if I could use some young folk language, it was undersubscribed. There was very low participation, right? And so the UN felt it important enough to extend that decade for another decade to reinforce how important that work is, right? And so at this event, it's called I Have a Dream, Recognition, Justice, Development. It's, again, a lecture in a lecture series celebrating the 8th Inter-American Week for People of African Descent within the UN's International Decade for People of African Descent. And the moderator will be Dr. Christopher Curry, keynote speaker Allison Maynard Gibson, KC, panelists Kenneth Wallace Whitfield, Marion Bethel, Gaynell Curry. So I just thought I have to attend that. I think it's going to be an interesting conversation, and I've invited, I'm hoping schedules align, Dr. Nyambi Campbell Hall, Dean from the University of the Bahamas and Chair of the Reparations Committee, Bahamas, to join me to talk about the weeks, the 8th week, the decade, the second decade, what happened in the first decade, and how the Reparations Committee intersects and connects with all of this global activity. But today we are here to prepare ourselves for World Water Day 2025 and to talk about the events and important timelines and deadlines in Brief's calendar of events. We have a very big deadline coming up April 7th.
Yes.
All right, so let's start where you want to start. We got a full schedule.
So the thing that's coming up the soonest, I guess, is we have several things happening, like you said, Erin. We have our World Water Day public snorkel that's coming up on Saturday. That's this Saturday at Saunders Beach. I don't know where Saunders Beach is, in New Providence, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and it is free of charge. So just bring yourself, your family and friends, a refillable water bottle, and reef safe sun protection. So that's like a reef safe sunscreen. And all participants must be 8 years older to snorkel, and we will provide the snorkel gear. So you don't have to worry about bringing fins and snorkels and safety vests. We have all those things.
All right.
Prepared
Now, if I may need an extra large vest, like I'm a young boy, but I might as well be training to go into football in college, right? I husky. Right, I need to call in advance and say, hey, I'm an extra large.
I mean, you could. That's possible, but we usually have the different sizes out there on the beach. Right. So yeah, we'll be prepared for that.
Good stuff. Now, I want you to know that I was triggered just now when you referenced Saunders Beach, Goodman's Beach, right? So people as a landmark, and Goodman's Bay Beach, and I just want to say, I'm triggered by that because I grew up in an era when everybody knew where Saunders Beach was. It's opposite Saunders gas station. It's by Saunders KFC Saunders Beach. But I realized, right, that with the pace of development on the western end of the island, first of all, the beach doesn't look the way it used to look. So there's some people who drive right past it because it just does not look the same. And then there's some young people that have just never referred. It's the beach by the roundabout out west.
Yes.
And other.
Or after fish fry or something.
I had to say that. Well, go on.
Yes. No, but we try to be as specific as we can because we are finding that on some of our presentations that some of the students do not know where Saunders Beach is. So please, this is an opportunity for you to have an outing with your family, with your friends, with your kids, to introduce them to different parts of the island, different beaches. So this is a great opportunity for people to take.
Yeah.
And it's free of charge.
I met a young man who didn't know what the fry was, let alone where it was. And it's not his fault. Us older generations, we have to decide what is most valuable of our generation's experience and share it with younger generations. So they could understand why we feel the way that we feel about it. And then they could decide for themselves how they feel about it. But make a rational community decision, Like, I don't like it, but I appreciate why my parents love it so much. All right, so March 22nd is also World Water
Yes, so
Day.
that's World Water Day. So you talked about the UN earlier.
Yeah.
So this is a UN day, right?
Designated.
It's a day. So we'll be out there celebrating World Water Day. This year, the theme does evolve around the ice caps and melting ice caps and global warming. And it does directly impact us, although we don't think about it that much because we do have issues with sea level rise in the Bahamas. I remember I was talking to a builder a few weeks ago, and she was telling me that they are impacted now because when they, dig, you have to dig a certain amount depth into
lay
the
your
foundation.
yeah.
And she said now the water is much higher in certain areas where they would have never seen water before. So this is contributing to many parts of our society.
And many aspects of our lives. So the theme is glacier present, right? And like you say, when you think of mountains and ice caps and go into the Arctic, because you can't go to Antarctica and things like that, you don't think about the Bahamas. But 2 mornings ago, when it was raining so heavy,
Oh, yeah.
and y'all would rather pull your car on a sidewalk on top of a pedestrian than let the petticoat of that's sea level rising, that's glacier preservation, that's your connection to that issue. When I am in my yard and I'm noticing that I have some like soil, it feels like I have ground erosion, almost like small sinkholes are forming, and then I'm asking myself, well, what's the sea level under the ground? Is water moving in a way it didn't move before? Is it settling in a way that it didn't settle before? Is that shifting or causing changes in the topography? And then what's happening right under the surface? And these are all things that impact us. Like, why is the tree that did so well without watering for the last 5 years now seeming to be dry, like it's not getting its usual natural water supply? It was because the topography, the landscape could have shifted and the tree's water source could have been cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of these things, like you said, are related. And we have to remember that although we live in the Bahamas and we're not in the Arctic or the North and South poles, we still are on planet Earth. So what happens on that side on what's happening for us, especially as a small island developing nation. So that's a good segue actually into our Young Reporters for the Environment competition. So we have this competition that's ongoing now for students between the ages of 11 to 25 years old living in the Bahamas. So that's all of the criteria right there that you need to know to qualify for the competition. And it's where students get to choose what issues they care about. So, for example, you spoke about flooding. Flooding is an environmental issue that we have in the Bahamas. And we talked about World Water Day and what's happening here. That could actually be a topic for a student who wants to enter the competition. So it has to be an environmental issue that impacts the Bahamas, and students can write about it. They can choose if they want to do a article, a video, photo, or a podcast, and all of the rules and everything is on our website. So they can, on our Facebook page. So they can go on our Facebook page at Brief 242 or on Instagram, and they'll see all the information on the competition for the link in our bio. Now, shops throughout the year, right? The Wiry competition season starts in September and it ends in April. So we've had from September to now 3 workshops, and they've been our outdoor workshops. But this competition is for all students living in the Bahamas. So we're going to have a virtual workshop for, considering our family island students and other students who may not be able to physically may have not been able to physically attend the workshops. And that is next week, Friday that's March 28th, next Friday at 5 p.m. It's a virtual workshop where we will be answering all the students' questions and running them through the rules of the competition. So if you're thinking about something environmental that you want to write about, bring all of your questions, all of your concerns, your outline, your drafts to that virtual workshop and be prepared to talk about it as we go through all of the instructions for it.
All right, so I'm going to give you an example. One of the ways, well, science is observation, right? And for young people, I think it's important for us to reinforce that with young people, right? Like science is observation. So be conscious and observe what's happening around you, like in the natural world, including human activity. So for an idea for a topic for the
entry.
competition, so an entry. Watch this. So I observe in my yard all the time after a heavy, heavy rain where water settles. So I'm on a slope with a wall, so I could get a sense of the water level after a super heavy, super soaker rain. And after, especially if it's 2 days of rain, so like 2023 was a year of rain,
Yes.
I realize when I come outside, sometimes I will see ants escape holes. I'll see mounds of dirt and ants moving, right? And where they weren't before. And that's how I realized that the flooding and how the water is settling disrupts ant colonies and is destroying ant colonies underground. And so whenever I see these mounds of dirt and ant movement and ant activity, I know that something has happened underground and is either damaged or destroyed their existing colony, and they making plans to move and figure out, they working now, right? Is that, I know this is a young reporters of the terrestrial, like a land issue, but is that sufficient? Is the intersection of potential, the potential that sea level rise is causing that activity in ants?
Okay.
Is that a topic, an entry suitable for this competition?
Okay, so for something like that, students would need to go and get research. So for all of these, if there's research that exists on that, or if they have an expert who they can talk to from an environmental organization like Brief or any other environmental organizations in the Bahamas, and they can, add some facts to that, then that's perfectly fine.
Specific data
they just
or
need
fact.
data. So it could be anything that you're interested in that has to do with the environment. You just have to reinforce it and also link it with one of our, our theme for this year, which is ecosystem restoration.
Right, and then
Right.
the topics, marine pollution, climate change, loss of biodiversity.
Yes. So that would be that may be a climate change issue, right?
linking
so
sea level rise to
sea
climate
level
change.
rise, climate change, and then the activity in your backyard, right? There was a student who wrote an entry before about this river, right? She was like, I believe in Mexico, and this river that she used to pass every day on her way to school. And she watched as the years went on that the river dried up and it's no longer there. And she had the before picture and the after picture. And she put it, side by side. She merged it. And split, it was like split screen image, and it actually was one of the winning entries, right? So these are things like it could be something in your backyard. It could be something that you see on a regular basis. This student in Israel, he wrote about the flooding in his neighborhood, right? So those are entries that students that directly impact them. So it's up to the student to think about an issue that they're concerned about and to link it to the themes.
Imagine the stories coming out of what we call Arab or Northern African countries where there was snow over the last couple of years, where they experienced snow, right? Like just wild. And so I want to say this sort of before we transition, because it's just some really interesting water facts and water information. When I was in school, I think I almost got suspended. And then the teacher, the guidance counselor was like, why would you send her home? Like, why would you send students home where they may be unsupervised? When you could supervise, like you could punish them in school with extra supervision and tasks. Why would you send them home, right? And then I had a friend who said, listen, when he was a young boy, like what inspired him to be a thinker, right? And to think critically was, he's a rough and tough boy. Beat up tree and run 7 miles, just pure energy amongst boys. It was in a boys' boarding school. The priest would make them on detention write book reports or answer questions like, why is the sky blue?
But
why is water blue?
But that shouldn't be a punishment, right?
Well, listen, it should be applied. I said, oh my goodness, this wasn't a punishment at all. I'm actually enjoying this. So I want to say, like, to parents, you're looking for ways to sort of order, like discipline your kids, not beat them, but order them, because that's what discipline really is, right? This is a wonderful activity. Sit in the yard, tell them, look here, sit in this yard for 30 minutes. Observe something. Your eyes waking, right?
It could even be heat. It could even be the temperature. And you could be like, wow, out there was hot, right? And you're sitting out there for 30 minutes and I can't find an environmental issue, but out there was really hot. That's an environmental issue.
And
right?
why? And I don't
Climate
ever
change.
remember it being this hot before, right? Like I used to spend all my little children days outside playing.
Yeah.
But use it as a tool to discipline, to order, and to help them order their thoughts and discipline their minds and develop critical thinking.
Yes.
And more importantly, develop empathy and spatial awareness, right? Because when you
Very
snorkel, like I said it to myself, I love this snapper called the mango snapper. They call it the schoolmaster.
Oh, schoolmaster
They call
snappers,
it,
yeah.
sometimes they call it dog teeth snapper. It
Yes.
have the mango fins, mango orange fins. I love that fish. But I know as soon as I snorkel and I see one of them little fishies in
They're
the
very
water,
common too.
I will have a problem with eating it.
No.
Because I've developed a proximity, right? Like I've developed this almost Disney-like relationship with it.
So we have a rule. We take photos and leave bubbles. We don't touch the marine
Right, so-
life.
but-
We don't.
exactly.
So last time I think we saw crawfish. We usually see schoolmaster snappers and grunts, and those fish are pretty common. So
Yeah.
so you will probably see fish if you come out, and we will have a fish identification slate to show you what you can expect to see on the snorkels. The snorkels are only about 15 minutes long, so they're not very, very long. So if you come out on Saturday, it's completely free of charge. You can bring out your family. You have to be 8 years old or older to participate. And for the young reporters, for the environment competition, if you have any questions, I will be there on Saturday. So you can ask me any questions you have about the competition and your child entering. The deadline is April 7th.
And
It's
if you-
Monday, April 7th. So please put in your entries before that time. If you want more information on it, you can call Brief at 9,000, and you can ask this. You can ask about to find more information about the Young Reporters for the Environment National Competition. Our prizes are iPad, an iPad mini, underwater camera, and we've also had the generous donation from the Heat Wave and Sports Center to give us some vouchers as well.
Awesome.
Several vouchers
Let's
for
go
winners.
to this caller, and then we're going to get back to the deadline and those prizes. I need you to repeat the prizes again. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning, Miss Greene. Your guest, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey, right on, yeah, I'd like for your guest to please tell you stop eating lionfish and tilapia, because one is toilet bowl fish, and the next one will cause you get poisoned.
Okay, no, pause. First of all, I appreciate the sentiment that you're sharing, but lionfish is okay. So the tilapia is the one you say is, you use the word garbage. It's a fish. God love all fish. He make all fish. I personally, living in the third largest fish nursery in the whole planet Earth, prefer not to eat tilapia, and I prefer businesses not to sell me tilapia when they could support the local fishing industry by sourcing other types of fish out of our waters. That's the first thing with tilapia. Now, lionfish, I cannot stand the lionfish. I'm not saying you did it intentionally, but this is the thing I like. Lionfish is venomous. It is not poisonous. Barracuda is poisonous. First things first, you ingest poison, venom is injected into you. You are envenomated, but with poison, you ingest it. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, barracuda, if it has developed a toxin within it, it doesn't matter what you do to that barracuda, the toxin is going to be in it. When people say, oh no, this one wasn't bad, it may be that their immune system is extremely strong, and after years of eating low doses of toxin in barracuda, their bodies have developed a tolerance. But that same barracuda could potentially kill another consumer. Lionfish is venomous. The venom exists within the skeletal system. So if you don't break any of the bones of the fish while it is spines while it is still alive, or in those moments right after death, then the flesh will not be permeated with the venom. However, if your fish the spines have been broken and the venom has entered the flesh of the fish, you can completely and totally destroy or denature the venom with heat. At temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Fahrenheit, if your lionfish is prepared properly, cooked thoroughly at 140 degrees, you will have completely destroyed the venom in the fish. The biggest risk of envenomation from lionfish is the person who's catching it, the people in the boat who are moving around while it's in the boat, and who we call the cleanup man, the cleaner, the fish cleaner. Those are the people who are at greatest risk of lionfish envenomation. Now, if you're the type of person that cleans your fish on the side of the rock where you caught it, very careful not to throw those spines just anywhere. In particular, at Montague Ramp, fishermen are very careful of how they dispose of lionfish spines because they store their conch in the water. And so the conch boys go in the water, sometimes barefoot, and there's a potential that they can become envenomated, stuck with one of the spines almost immediately after the fish has been dressed, has been cleaned. So I just want to reinforce that, because lionfish is perhaps one of the best delights in Bahamian water right now.
Yes, they are very tasty.
And it is the best fish in our arsenal if we're going to protect our grouper stocks and if we're going to preserve Nassau grouper, so our little children in perpetuity could understand why people was knocking down the door. I sorry, call a callback. The door of the fish house that stopped selling shellfish. Anyway, the point, grouper is culturally big thing. Let's preserve it and replace it with lionfish, particularly when the Nassau grouper season is closed.
Yes, the season is reopened now, but we encourage people to fish responsibly and consume responsibly.
All right, let's go to the phone line. I'm sorry I left that caller waiting. Good morning, caller.
Point just now.
Oh, sorry.
Why you should not eat lionfish unless you have a whole glass full of Pepto-Bismol.
No, man, I tell you.
That's not true. I've had lionfish many times. I've had lionfish tacos. I've had lionfish and grits steamed. It is so good.
I've made lionfish ceviche. I've served.
Oh yes, lionfish wraps as well.
Served from
really tasty.
2 to 82.
And I didn't get sick.
Once the lion.
You're too soft on foolish yourself. Try the lionfish for bonefish. You ever taste stuffed bonefish before?
But hold on, are we allowed to eat the bonefish?
No.
So no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there you go.
I've been told two things, right?
Yeah.
I've been told by someone from the Department of Environmental Planning Protection that you're not supposed to have it at all. And I've also been told by an environmentalist in the past, I don't know if the rules would have changed, that for recreational, it was allowed. So if you're going and catching it yourself and eating it for your family,
but no commercial consumption.
Not commercial consumption. So I'm not 100% sure. So I wouldn't come to have a full conclusion on that.
Uncle who called?
I would say just call the Department of Environmental Planning and get clarity on it. Or
what about agriculture and marine resources?
Either or. Either or.
Caller, uncle, don't be mad at me, but look here,
lion, it's tasty.
Now,
so it does have, and they have tutorials as well online, of how to take the spines off and fillet it, and they're not very bony either.
Right. So
once you cut off the fillets, it's almost like
First of all, miss, don't be bone slandering. Let's talk about it, right? Because what we eat is
he was talking about bones, like bonefish, and that would be,
I know, but hold on.
As an alternative.
What we eat is sort of predicated on how we're socialized and how people talk about it and what we observe around us, right? As young people, Lionfish is it's the perfect commercial fish. Like if you're thinking, I am a fisherman, I need to make money, I want to make money. Like lionfish is the perfect commercial fish. First of all, like Miss Darling Sargent said, it don't have plenty bones. It has less bones than your traditional snapper. So on top of that, it's an extremely meaty fish, the filet-lific, considering the length of the fish, right? You get a lot of meat in it. And so as a business vendor, I would buy a lionfish, trim the fillet, sell the fillet in pairs, and I would either sell the shoulders or eat the shoulder or mince the shoulder meat to make lionfish tacos.
Yes.
Right? And so if you know anything about fish, you could sell the fillet and that covers the cost of the fish plus profit. Right? With the market scale. Lionfish shoulders are perfect for stew fish and boiled fish. For bone-in fish, lionfish fillet are perfect for any fillet application. Right? And so it's a great fish for people who are saying, well, look, groupers being overfished, lobsters being overfished, some of these things are being overfished.
That's a great alternative.
And it's a great alternative for export. Because one of the things that's happening right now is that some of these charters and some unregistered and undocumented marine visitors are actually entering our waters to harvest lobster and lionfish. And they making a buku like they almost making as much money on the lionfish as they're making on the lobster that they're poaching and taking abroad. Yeah, so it's a really economic, inspiring space. So, Uncle, I mean, maybe I have to cook some lionfish for you, but the most important thing is that lionfish is not poisonous.
Yes. It's not poisonous at all.
You ingest poison,
and you can just cut off the spines and you can
remove
eat it, and
the venom.
it's very, very tasty.
It is exquisite.
Yeah.
Okay. Erin, who don't know where Saunders Beach and the Fry is, yes, we're sure.
Yes.
These are young people. These are young people. And the adults, don't talk to them about anything with sense. Like this, text them.
Well, we don't know. We don't know, but for some reason, they may be more, because when we talk to them, a lot of students tell us they prefer to spend time inside, or they spend most of their time, indoors, on their computers, on their phones. Like they spend most of their time, on TikTok. And
imagine you live in the Bahamas and you spend more time looking at Bahamian beaches on TikTok than actually pushing your toes in the sand.
Oh my
The
goodness.
texter asks, are there any beach cleanups taking place within the next few weeks? Said South Beach needs some attention.
Yeah. So
And for y'all adults that go out on the beach for adult activity and you don't take all of your trash away with you, God is not pleased. Jesus is not pleased.
So when you go to the beach, you can take a bag with you that you can throw your trash in, and you can, or if you see something on the beach, just pick it up and toss it on your way out. That it's a community effort, to kind of clean up things, because sometimes there are people who go on the beach and they dump, right, or they just leave their trash. But there are also times when things blow onto the sand and people don't catch it, or they fly off the truck, or so you want to be a active citizen. I'm using the orgs language, and you want to be a part of the solution. There's also on Brief's website. Our website is undergoing some upgrades right now, but in the next few days, you can check Brief's website at brief.org, and we have a beach cleanup guide on it. So you can do the beach cleanup yourself, or you can get a few friends or neighbors or whatever. Yeah, and you can use our beach cleanup guide, and then you can take photos, put them on online, and you can tag Brief. As well. So that's a good thing that you can get involved in.
Let's go to this call, and then we're going to run through the dates and deadline. Good morning, caller. Yo. Good morning, caller. I can hear you now.
I know beaches and parks are responsible for the beaches, the public beaches.
Yes.
What role do they play along with beach and park?
So does Brief partner in any way with beaches and parks for beach cleanups or attention, identifying issues, environmentally sensitive or urgent issues on beaches?
Okay, so I'm not 100% sure on this. What I do know is that whenever we have any beach activity, we usually reach out to parks and beaches to let them know that we will be there, especially if it's like a major event happening. So that's in that way, but I'm not sure about the history
Or
and the extent of what we,
But thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for that caller. So any organizations like Concolay Concola and World, right? He's spearheaded an environmental movement focused on removing trash from our common spaces and our natural spaces, and then growing a culture of appreciation for trash and waste management, right? Like spatial awareness, understanding how much space you occupy, understanding how much you consume, and how much of that is then just thrown to the world, right? All of these things are great skills for young people.
And they're also good topics for the young reporters for the environment competition as well. You can go on the beach, take a picture of the pollution, take a picture of you cleaning it up, and you can enter that into the competition.
All right. So, National Young Reporters of the Environment
For the environment, yes.
competition deadline.
Submission
deadline.
deadline is April 7th.
All right.
And all of the information you can be found on our social media pages, on our Facebook at Brief42. You can also find more information about YRE on YRE.global. But all of the information from our pages and our website will link you to the international website as well.
All right, dear Texter, you know that Crystal wasn't telling people to pick up the things that people know that God should damn them for leaving on the beach. You know that that's not what she or I was saying. Come on, Texter. Come on, you know that she was not even suggesting that. And why would you suggest it, Texter? Come on, now, if you said to me, hey, Miss Greene, you like to row, obviously. Would you take a moment to row beaches and parks? And the agencies responsible for public spaces and the environment, could you use some of that rowing and tell them that they know that the infrastructure that they make available to the public in these spaces is insufficient for proper waste and trash management? If you'd asked me to row them because they know that they need to assign staff to beaches so that they can constantly monitor, make assessments, and make calls when, listen, there's a strong breeze, you need to send a truck now to pick up the trash, or the bins will blow everywhere, right? Like, if you would like me to row like that, text, but why should I row you? Anyway, we're going to a break. When we get back from the break, we're going to talk about traffic. I don't ever hear dolphins complaining, you know. I don't ever hear dolphins talking about they speeding too fast and they wouldn't stop at the stoplight. When we get back from the break, you're on the clock with Erin Greene.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy in his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good-for-nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send pictures direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas. Then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons.
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas, so you can call and nobody knows you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Everybody Wins Live is bringing you the ultimate giveaway, a brand new Cybertruck. For every $30 spent, you're in the drawing for the ultimate grand prize, a Cybertruck. Drawn live at the Vibes Cartel concert March 29th. You'll also be automatically entered to win tickets to see the world boss himself. 25 lucky winners every single week. Visit everybodywinslive.com to get into the game. See website for full terms and conditions. Must be 18 or over to participate.
Inland Revenue is here to guide and help you with all things business license and VAT. On March 25th and 26th at the National Baseball Stadium, the DIR will host a financial symposium with multiple government and private agencies. Then in the month of April, learn all about VAT through our in-person and virtual sessions during what we call VAT Education Month. For more information, follow Capital DIR Bahamas on all social media platforms.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-FAR-RICHES. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Good morning. Welcome back to On the Clock with Erin Greene. I have Crystal Darling Sargent from Brief joining me this morning. I wanted to talk about traffic, but see, I am reasonable. I felt like the conversation with Brief is very important, man. And I just wanted to take a moment, like, to speak to parents. Like, I know the show is at 10 o'clock. Students are in school right now. Yes. We're not talking to them. We're talking to y'all, parents, guardians, right? Like, if you have the kids on the weekend, if you're the auntie and you have the kids on the weekend, we're talking to you guys about opportunities for these young people, right? If they know what they want to do and this is the field, get them there. If they don't know what they want to do, then this is an opportunity to introduce them to expose them to something new, something they may not have considered.
Experience, because we offer, in the Bahamas, we offer a lot of these services to tourists all the time, and they're paying top dollar. They're paying a lot of money for these snorkeling experiences and coming to the Bahamas. They have to catch a flight. We have it right here, and Brief is offering this for free. So it's just an opportunity to come out and, learn about the marine environment while also enjoying a free snorkel. So it's educational, it's cultural, it's a nice, positive family outing, and it's just all around awesome. We've had great reviews from people who just pop up, and sometimes people drive past and they're just like, "What are they doing out there?" And they said, "Oh, I just stopped. I just stopped to see what you were doing," and then they come back later with their swimsuits. And they go on the snorkel. So it's something like that. And like I said, the snorkel is only about 15 minutes long. Mm-hmm. But if we, depending on the traffic that we have there, the amount of people, then you can go maybe another time, like 2-3 times, if it permits.
Right. I saw this super cool video of it would look like a family island regatta site, and they were gearing up for some activity on the regatta site, and they were playing Burma Road, Ronnie Butler Burma Road. Mm-hmm. And Mom, she looked a little frail, but she was rocking. She was jamming at her own speed. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we just discount our older generations.
Exactly.
And the snorkel may be a wonderful opportunity for you to get your Grammy or your granddaddy in the water. Like, as long as they live in the Bahamas, they may have never had the opportunity to go snorkeling. Yeah. Right? And all they need to be able to do is bubble, because they can have a life vest, and you can be there with them to guide them through the experience. Yes. Both you and Brief staff and volunteers.
Exactly. We've had last year we had a lady come to our snorkel. She was with her entire family. She was about 80 years old, and she went on the snorkel and she was fine. she's a senior citizen. She was swimming and snorkeling fine, you know, and she was very confident. So this is not limited to like an age. Once you're comfortable in the water, know how to swim, you know, then we're inviting you to come out and experience it.
Absolutely. This is awesome. So Saturday, 22nd of March, 2025. What time are we starting?
We're starting at 9:00 and we're wrapping up around 12.
Okay, good stuff. So 15 minutes snorkel at a
15
time.
minutes around the little, you know, the rocky, it's shaped
The
like
whale,
a fin
yeah.
on the beach. So around the rocky structures. It's nice, it's short, it's sweet.
All right, good stuff. And deadline for the young reporters of
for
the environment.
National competition is April 7th. You can go on our Facebook page or our Instagram page at Brief242 and get more information on those.
Right.
We post on those regularly.
And we're submitting our entries to Crystal at brief.org.
Yeah, Crystal at brief.org. So that's CRYSTAL, just like in the dictionary.
Right.
Nothing fussy. Crystal at brief, BREEF.org or BREEF at brief.org. So that's brief at brief.org. So.
All right. And then the last YRE workshop will be a virtual workshop on Friday, March 28th.
Yes, that's next Friday.
At 5 p.m. And we can get the Zoom link.
Yes, and students can sign up, or parents can assist their young children who may be around the age of 11, right? Because this is for students between the ages of 11 to 25. So we even have college students enter.
Awesome.
So
and
it's
the
not
prizes
limited
again,
to that.
quickly?
Okay, and the prizes are an iPad mini, an underwater camera, and then the generous donation from the Heat Wave and Sports Center of the gift cards and
vouchers. Awesome. Yeah. All right, so we're going to transition a little bit just now. There's a beautiful story in today's Guardian. Police officers read to kids at Yellow Elder Primary School. That is an awesome story. I wanted to just highlight something extremely positive happening. Before I ask y'all, how is it that you can't do one cartwheel, but you could throw your car on its side? Like you can't cartwheel, you can't jumping jack, but you cartwheel in your car through the streets of New Providence. I have not spoken about traffic for a very long time because I am, first of all, extremely disappointed in the continued lack of traffic enforcement by the Royal Bahamas Police Force. It's hurting my heart now. I'm even more troubled, right, that we see a whole lot of activity. We see a whole lot of police activity, but they are in fact not enforcing traffic controls. They are engaged exercises. And these tax collection exercises are unnecessarily frustrating the regular and efficient movement of people, goods, and services through the country. See, I can be decent. I'm not going to tell the people where y'all is set up your tax collection exercises, but you're not enforcing traffic controls. And it appears as if when you're pulling people over, you're not pulling them over for traffic offenses. You're profiling. You're looking for tax collection. You're looking to see if the vehicle is registered, if it's licensed, if it has insurance. When people are committing infraction after infraction right next to you, in the midst of your supposed traffic enforcement exercise, people are breaking the rules right in your faces. I haven't talked about it because I feel this absolutely unnecessary number of traffic fatalities would prompt people to start moderating their behavior, including the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Like deaths, like increasing traffic fatality counts year after year would prompt the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Ministry of National Security, the ministry responsible for transport, the general public, the medical association, right? That it would prompt some professional organization or sector to step up and say something is drastically wrong here. And perhaps y'all don't understand if if the immediate observation of loss of life is not sufficient, are we not concerned that we are raising sociopaths and psychopaths by forcing them to live with a cognitive dissonance, where the Royal Bahamas Police Force are compelling students to encourage their parents to drive better, but refusing to enforce the rules of the road with those same children in the cars with their parents. I'm also troubled because it seems as if we stop putting traffic fatalities on the front page, as if we don't think that this is a big deal. Producer, let's go to the phone line. Let's see what's happening. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I think what you're underscoring is the obvious and right now face challenges within our transportation system. But I'd like to go even further. I believe that at the center of our traffic management inefficiencies and challenges is the fact that the Royal Bahamas Police Force, I went through police training and I opted out and went to university. No time in that training were you trained in traffic management, the study of traffic, how to mitigate traffic, and how to manage the roadways. Mm-hmm. So when you have an organization called the Road Traffic Department of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, which it is, it's an arm of the police force. None of the individuals there have been trained to manage our traffic, to manage our roads, to manage all the things that you have talked about and so eloquently laid out, what should be the considerations, because all they manage is what happens after an accident. Mm-hmm. There's no preventative part of the strategy, because that's not what the agency called the Road Traffic Department was created under the auspices of the police force to do. Mm-hmm. So I think as we're looking towards the future, the next 50, and we're in the year 52, we now need to get serious about creating a department of traffic of the country, which is then housed and staffed with engineers and professionals in traffic management if we want to see a meaningful change in how roads are built, designed, and then we manage traffic. And then couple that with what you're saying, the rigorous enforcement like what happens in the United States and other developed parts of the world.
Yes, sir. Listen, thank you. Thank you so very much for affirming that, right? Because the issues are multifaceted. First of all, we have a culture of reckless and careful driving. I make this point careful because it's not careless. You know exactly what you're doing. Right? We are faced with bad driving culture. We're facing with non-existent structural mechanisms, and we're faced with continually crumbling and unattended infrastructural issues, right? It requires a multifaceted approach, but we're not going to get anywhere if drivers are continually observing police officers ignore other traffic infractions taking place around them. And it's not going to change if police officers are committing the traffic infractions. And if people who are responsible, people who are responsible for driving judges and magistrates are blatantly breaching the traffic rules on the road. Right? But then y'all want to turn around and look at young people and demand, yuck out of the neck back, some supposed respect for the authority vested in the police force, when it appears to them that you have no respect for yourself. Listen, I don't need to talk about the Michael Johnson probe. I don't need to talk about U.S. indictments. I don't need to talk about the question of fraudulent passports to know that something is and police records, yeah? I don't have to explore the complete and utter devolution and collapse of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I could just talk about the fact that y'all stop enforcing traffic controls. And no judge can kick me out of the court. And no judge can say, Miss Greene, you're just being utterly ridiculous. We don't need to talk about those highfalutin things. We could talk about ourselves and how we are complicit in the degradation and devolution of the work of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. It's us. So you laugh at me when I stop at the stop sign. Laugh at me when I blow my horn because you're veering into another lane. You laugh. continue to laugh until you can't laugh no more. And fortunately, hopefully, it's not because you have taken someone's life recklessly. Anyway, y'all have a good time. Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Nuri is up next. He texted you caused that, talking about you want me rap. I going home, I ain't around no more. Take my O to the Billy Goat. Maybe once more. Y'all have a good day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.